Here's a little picture of our favourite guy that likes to kick people in the face, Sanji. If you like this type of drawing and more, remember to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. One Piece, Chapter 207, The Nightmare.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the epic, awe-inspiring, mind-bending, spine-tingling tale of One Piece. Our last chapter, of course, saw us with starting the new volume, but really the countdown to extinction for Alubarna, really kind of getting to its height and its peak. I think we were left off with maybe about 10 seconds left, and of course we had all the Straw Hats working together feverishly with Vivi to try to go and use that upward motion that was created initially by the Climate Baton, and then of course Sanji kicking them up to a higher level, to the next level, and then Zoro. That's how we were left with Zoro going and kind of getting Chopper and Vivi on his swords and ready to propel them up towards towards the top of the clock tower to hopefully stop this cannon from being fired. However, we have the Baroque Works throwaway agents of Mr. Seven and Miss Father's Day up there who have now seen them, and apparently they're snipers as well, conveniently enough. And really then, of course, the only other thing we had going on was, Luffy, of course, has been poisoned by Crocodile, and Crocodile and his fight is raging on, and Crocodile keeps making mention of the poison's eventually just going to overtake him and he's going to collapse. So that is how the chapter, of course, left off, and really that's right where we pick up over here. We see a brief interaction of just a couple of pages between Luffy and Crocodile, and Luffy is he's basically just hunched over, he's slumped over, he's lost a lot of blood, he's been poisoned, and he just kind of collapses to the ground. And Crocodile goes and starts giving his speech about how if you collapse now, if you lose now, Straw Hat, everything you have done will have been in vain if you can't defeat me now. So it's really just kind of the evil asshole monologuing speech. And as far as I'm concerned, it's like Croc's last ditch effort because he knows that he's in trouble here just because Luffy is he just keeps on coming, So we then go in the bulk of the chapter is spent, it does go back and forth a little bit, so I'll try to cover it the best I can. But then for the next portion, it goes back to where we're at about 7-8 seconds left, I think. And we wind up seeing, we see Zoro go and propel them and go and say, I'm going to fling you, Chopper and Vivi. Vivi, of course, is on Chopper. Kind of fling them up higher to get them closer to their goal, the top of this enormous clock tower. And as they do that, the Baroque Works agents, Mr. Seven and Miss Father's Day, go and they do this, ribbit smash or lady smash, I think it's called, where they both fire their guns at the same time, and their bullets collide in midair and create, I guess, an explosion, or, it's a special move type of deal. So they wind up firing it, and they don't hit Vivi and Chopper, but they hit poor Zoro. Now, Zoro, poor guy, he's been pissed on, stepped on, fucked with. I mean, everything you can possibly imagine. Buildings dropped on him. He's been cut, beaten, stabbed, now shot, and of course he still has to fall the 100 feet down to the ground or whatever it may be from the clock tower. So, but Zoro is definitely very resilient to say the least. So everybody's like Zoro because of course he gets shot. I am not worried because I've seen him take much worse, even in just in this arc, but. At any rate, they wind up then going and showing Vivi and Chopper, and the way this was shown was kind of neat because you see Chopper and he's kind of got he's hulked up in his human form, and he's just about to shrink back down, or he's just in the process of shrinking down. So you see the silhouette of his bigger human form arm, like doing like one of these, and you're like, what the hell's going on? And then even the Baroque Works agents are like, where's Miss Wednesday? Then you go and you see this one panel flashback of Vivi telling Chopper, just throw me as hard as you can, right? And Chopper's like, got it, whatever, and it shows in this flashback that he's going and flinging and tossing her. So Chopper then goes and of course loses his momentum, or maybe he's trying to dodge another shot coming from these two throwaway agents, and he shrinks back down and starts kind of falling backwards. And again, like I said, they're like, where's Miss Wednesday, and that's all they know her as. They don't even know she's the princess. So then you go and you see this cool panel drawn by Oda where you just see the side of the clock tower, a bunch of negative space, the air around, and you see this little like speck, and Chopper went and, I mean, he was trying to take somebody out at home plate from the outfield without a relay throw, man, a little baseball reference there, but he was just, he just heaved her her arc and trajectory went up and over the line of sight from these two Baroque Works agents, Mr. Seven and Miss Father's Day. And then as she's coming down towards them, and all of a sudden they know what's going on. And now, mind you, the whole time this thing's clicking down, you know, every couple panels, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. So we're down to like, I think 2 or 3 seconds when this happens. And she comes at with her double peacock slasher move, you know, comes at and whoo, as she's coming down, and they both duck, right? And she's just trying to get in there, take them out, and of course stop this this cannon from firing. The fuse has been lit, and it's like this overly long, complicated, you know, lengthy fuse, kind of like you would see in like a cartoon or something like that, you know. And so she comes down and they're like, oh, haha, you missed, right? And then she goes and on the backslash, because she swings and then uses the momentum to swing back, she winds up nailing both of them, and you see some blood flying out of them, and then in the next panel you see them go and fly out of the clock tower, so we can assume that they're hurt, beaten, or at least out of the way for now. And then it's down to 1 second, right? And she's able to go, and we don't really see right then. We go and we get a quick flashback to like Crocodile and Luffy and what have you. We wind up seeing, though, like a page or two later, we see that she in fact did go and, you know, with her peacock slasher, just able to cut the fuse off with like maybe a foot to go as it was about to go, as it was about to explode, you know, to get to the cannon, and then of course fire this huge round that was going to take out a 3-mile radius. So, so she goes in and does that, but then we go and we see a couple of panels where we can still see the cannon itself, the Baroque Works cannon, and we see tick, 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 and it's like, what the hell? What's going on, right? So then it goes and it cuts back to the Luffy and Croc fight, and Luffy's sitting there, of course, you know, pretty beaten and not looking very good. You know, he's still kind of collapsed on the ground. And we get King Cobra's like, you fiend, you know, I think he calls him something to the effect of, you know, you asshole, you know. And he's like, you could at least call me meticulous. I had to think of every eventuality and every outcome, you know, before I was able to go and enact this plan. So then Croc goes on to explain that, you know, in the case of my agents not being able to or being unable to fire the cannon, it's set on a timer to detonate anyway. So although it will not be fired into the square that I wanted it to, it's still going to go and cause massive damage and take out, you know, tons of people. There's still going to be crazy death and destruction, you know, so sorry, you're fucked either way is basically what he says to him. And that's where that whole you fiend, you know, came from. So we get to see Croc as being a shining example of a dick once again. And then it goes back to, back to everybody, of course, the Straw Hats and all that. And we see some funny exchanges because we know that Zoro and, of course, Chopper had to fall backwards. Zoro, who's already been shot and beaten and stabbed and everything, he goes and hits the ground. And Sanji's like, ugh. And Sanji looks at him. He's like, you're still alive? And he's just like, what happened to the bomb? And then you go and you see Chopper. He falls and lands on one of the Marines. And then breaks his fall, and the Marine's like, what the hell was that just landed on me? And Chopper goes scampering off, you know, because he's still got that whole thing where, you know, he's scared of people because obviously they treat him differently because he looks differently. You know, he's not a human, he's not a reindeer. So it's just kind of a funny exchange over there. So then we go and it takes us towards the end of the chapter, takes us back up to the clock tower, and we see Vivi, and she's, of course, like looking out now over, and everybody's like, you know, I think it was Nami that said, you know, is it stopped? Is it done? Did you, you know, and she's like, I stopped it, but it doesn't matter. The thing's going to blow up anyway. It's on a timer. And you're just like, son of a, you know? So that is how the chapter leaves us. Certainly leaves us, I guess you'd say, hanging. Definitely a page turner. So and this is, as a matter of fact, this is funny because this is the second time I've had to actually record this review. I wound up doing this update on my computer and upgraded the operating system to Windows 8.1 or whatever, because it prompted me to, and it threw a number of things out of whack, and I had to uninstall and reinstall various apps and programs and things that I had. Nonetheless, long story short is that I wound up recording this, and I had no problems with previous recordings that I've done for the last few days since I did this update, but I recorded this chapter review, and it wasn't like the audio was garbled or it was something that could be retrieved or fixed or whatever. For some reason, it just decided to not record the audio at all. So there's 10 minutes of me doing this type of thing, you know? And although I thought it would be a funny thing to just throw that up and do an occasional voiceover and be like, oh, look, and now is where I go and spaz out a little bit. I really, in the end, I didn't think that would be appropriate. So for all the viewers out there, the loyal subscribers yourselves. So, so I guess that would be that would be part of the reason too why I'm a little bit irritated, because I then couldn't go any further with the chapters, because that's where I had ended off reading for that particular afternoon or day when I had some time, and then I was like, oh man, I gotta record this again. So but I still haven't read ahead, so I don't know what the hell happens. I can assume that it's hopefully something good. So, but my chapter question, and to tell you the truth, I can't even remember exactly what I had as the chapter question over here. Goodness gracious, I completely was drawing a blank on this one, and I think it was I think it was something that had to do with the whole situation with Vivi and the cannon and everything else. Oh, I think the original question was when I read when I originally read the chapter, somehow or another I missed the panel where she came back and nailed them out the window. I just saw them falling out the window, the Baroque Works agents. I don't know if maybe I was tired or what, but my original question was did they jump out or did they get knocked out? That's what I think it was. So anyway, so we won't have a super heavy chapter question today. My question is going to be more along the lines of, with the holidays right around the corner, many of you are in other countries of other faiths and beliefs and things like that, which is fine. It absolutely doesn't matter to me. However, just wanted to know, with 19 days approaching, at least here in the States, for Christmas time, what are some of your favorite holiday celebrations, parties, moments, things. For us, with my wife and me and my kids, a lot of times we'll go and check out some really cool areas of Chicagoland area that do up the lights real nice. Maybe go see a Christmas play, see a parade, those sort of things. What are some of your favorite holiday things to do? That's the chapter question. And if you could leave your answer to that in the comments down below, feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We'll look forward to catching you in the next one, Nation.
Buggy says to subscribe now or he's going to show up at your kid's next birthday party. Naked.